Hello everyone, I'm Pastor Suzy Burba from First Congregational Church of Braintree in Massachusetts, and I greet you today from Wampatuck State Park. Our senior minister, Reverend Michael Frady, and I have teamed together to bring you a reflection each week that we're calling Food for the Soul. And so today, here I am at Wampatuck, and before I get going with the reflection, I want to share with you a little bit about the park. It covers 3,500 acres, and within that there's about 12 miles of paved path, and there's many more miles of unpaved paths, all of which are good for walking and biking and running. So this park was originally owned and operated by the Navy, and it was a naval ammunitions depot. There's still some old railroad tracks that run through the park, and the park was, has been decommissioned as a naval location. You can still find some of the old bunkers. Some of them have been filled in, and all of the structures that were here, the roofs and windows, have been taken off, kind of open to the air. So there's a section of the park where you can find some interesting things, but most of it is just nice wooded trail. And I am in front of you right now at Woodpecker Pond. Sorry, I forgot the name. Those of you who know me will in no way be surprised that I chose to stand in front of a pond named after a bird. So, on to our food for the soul. For those of you familiar with our church, or those tuning in to our weekly services, you know that Pastor Michael has been concluding each service by saying the Serenity Prayer. And I want to take an opportunity now to talk about that prayer. Take a closer look, especially at the first verse. That first verse is, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. So let's take it one line at a time. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. The word that sticks out to me here is accept. Acceptance is hard. It's frustrating. But God is there to be a part of the struggle. So whatever it is that's outside of your control, even a global pandemic, we're not left on our own to accept these situations in isolation. God is our companion and our guide, and we can find refuge in Him. Next comes courage to change the things I can. Sometimes blindly accepting a situation as it is not the right answer. This situation calls for action, and action requires courage. Stepping outside of our usual patterns, trying something new, taking on new responsibilities is pretty scary. Fear is paralyzing, and courage helps us move beyond the paralysis. So how do you find courage? Again, God is our companion. And additionally, God gives us each other to help us through these situations, to help us navigate life. And lastly, wisdom to know the difference. The pathway to wisdom involves prayer, meditation, connecting with others, and increased experience. And when I talk about connecting with others, I don't mean just anyone. This requires a little bit of discernment. It's finding the right people. What do you look for? You look for people who speak the truth with love and respect. This does go along with the part about courage and finding courage. Look for those people who display the qualities of God. This is how we see the presence of God in each other. And in all things, pray. Maybe you don't really know what to say. Prayer might be awkward. For a lot of people, it's awkward. There's not a right and a wrong. Say whatever's on your heart. However it comes out, it is okay. And if you're just stuck and you don't know what to say and you're nervous about prayer, you can always use a pre-written prayer. And so on that note, I'm going to conclude by reading the Serenity Prayer. So I invite you to pray with me. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardships as the pathway to peace, taking as he did the sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that he will make things right if I surrender to his will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with him forever in the next. Amen. Love and peace to you, my beloved friends.